Everyone doing? Today is Monday, y'all. We are back at it on Monday. And I was trying to look at the date, but I think today is March the 17th. And we are geared and ready to go. Ready to go. Um, when you think about it, I was thinking about, and I'll see how my time go. But I know we're in Lent season, the 40 days before Easter, the resurrection, and so Easter is upon us. Lent actually began on Wednesday, on March 5th. And of course, as I said, it leads up to Sunday, April the 20th, which is Resurrection Sunday. And so each week, I kind of just want to open up for a few moments because I kind of want to dig into a new reflection of God and His Word. And so that's what we're going to be opening up every week until Easter Sunday. And so this week, of course, started yesterday. Week number 2 was March 16th. And so the topic this week is Jesus is the rock. Jesus is the rock. And I want to say that because many times life can really be unpredictable. And that's really true all the time. But the last couple of years has been really full of even more uncertainty for many of us. What can we cling to when so many of our foundations seemingly are crumbling? I mentioned on yesterday when we was in service yesterday, I mentioned about where we live at. We had a lot of wind coming into our community. And so as I looked outside after the wind had subsided, I looked and I seen, tables displaced and chairs all over the backyard and cushion that belonged on the seats and the chairs. They were just all scattered around. Furniture was moved all around. And it was a sight to see because I thought about the severity of the wind and how it was able to just cause almost, destruction in my little backyard. But I thought about the house that we live in, and I thought about how we will secure in the foundation of this house. Because when you build a house, they have to lay foundation, of course, and it have to be certain, so a certain amount of it, just poured into the foundation of the house. Because as they lay down the foundation, of course, everything else comes after that. The plumbing comes and the pipes comes and all of that. And then once all that is done, they begin to build the infrastructure of the house, the walls, and, they put in the electrical outlets. The electrician comes in, he does what he does. And so it's just a whole gamut of things that they do in order to build that house, that way that house is constructed properly and is able to be secured. Even though winds may come, the house is still steadfast and it is secure because of the foundation that it was built on. And then, of course, there are codes that the city will come in and they would check the various the electrical part of the house, the foundation of the house, and just various parts of the house that could be very critical that could cause a certain wind to actually destroy that particular house. And I thought about the house that I live in, our house. Even though that there was winds that was going on the outside, we were still stable and secure in the house itself because of how the house was built. And I thought about us. Jesus is our rock. And even though life is unpredictable, most of the time, and especially in uncertainty times as we're living in right now, we can cling to Him as being the rock of our salvation. Uh, Even though things are crumbling all around us and foundations are crumbling all around us, we can be set and secure on the foundation of Jesus Christ. And so thankfully, even though when part of our lives seems chaotic and unreliable, Jesus remains the same. And when things change at an unbelievable rapid pace, in any semblance of control slips right out of our hands, Jesus is our rock. And so throughout the Psalms, the author of that book cried out to the Lord in all sorts of distress, calling him the rock. They know, just as we can trust today, that the Lord is the one place we can turn to when life is stressful or scary. And I don't know about you, but I have experienced times in my life where my stress was at another level, and I may have felt scary at times because I just didn't know what was going to happen and how things was going to turn out. The disciples learned this lesson during a stormy boat ride. And so many of us know that story. And I'm going to ask you this week just to go back and read that chapter over in Matthew 8, verses 20 through 27. But the disciples learned this lesson during a stormy boat ride with gusty winds threatened to capsize their boat. The disciples were surprised and confused to find Jesus sleeping. I mean, here they got the storm going on. They are awakened as a result of the wind and the storm, and they was just surprised and confused that Jesus, here you are, all of this is going on, and you chose to sleep through the storm. And how many of us, we choose not to sleep through the storm? How many of us choose not to rest during a storm because so much is going on? It has captivated our attention. It has aroused our emotion. I mean, to the point that our bodies are tense and we just don't know what's going to happen sometimes from day to day. I mean, at least that's how we feel. And so we learned a couple things from this story over in Matthew 8, 23 and 27. First, when Jesus was with us, we don't need to worry. And so the disciples, they got that all wrong. They had Jesus himself there, I mean, right there with them, but they was afraid because of the wind and because of the boat began to sway back and forth, them not knowing, was the boat going to tip over, them not knowing what was going to happen in this gusty wind. And so all they knew to do was panic. Instead of resting, they said, you know what? Too much is going on. Have you ever had something going on in your life and you say, you know what, God, too much is going on. I need to find out if you are in this boat with me or you in this lifeboat with me. And so once again, they woke up and they woke up, and Jesus quickly calm the storm. And so once again, we learn, some things from this story. Number one, first, when Jesus is with us, we don't need to worry. We don't need to fret. If the King of Kings is with us, the Lord of Lords is with us, we don't need to worry. We can put on the peace of God, the strength of God, and we can begin to wear that as our cloak when things seem to get totally out of hand in our life. And even though it may not look like it, he is always in control. I'm going to say that again because somebody needs to hear that this morning. Even though it might look like, things are out of control, he is always in control. And so I can rest assured that no matter what's going on around me, even though though things may look like that there is no end to this disaster, even though things that look like things will never come back together again, even though things may look like my finances will never be restored, or I may not get the job that I'm looking for, and it just seems that life is cracking on every side, in every dimension, and the cracks are getting bigger and larger by the moment, by the hour, and it seems like, is this ever going to come together again? Even though it might not look like it, I want you to know, and I want you to be reminded this week that God is in control. Second, what we learn is when we do get scared, we can turn to him and he will bring calm in the storm. And that's what happened with the disciples over in Matthew 8:23-27, is that they were scared, but they found out that he will calm the storm. And so as we focus on Jesus, this next week of Lent, as we are in the week of Lent, if these 40 days, we need to take a look at what it means to rely on Jesus as our rock, our shield, and our refuge. And so I pray this week that you will find comfort and assurance in Jesus as our rock. I want you to take hold of him as your rock this week like never before. And so my prayer to you, for you today, is that God is going to cause the storm of life to begin to subside in your life. I decree that this week, as we are in Lent season, that there will be an awareness of Jesus, of who he is in all his power, in all his might, and that you will come to a place of quietness, a place of rest, and a place of peace. Well, that's it for today. This has been Linda G. Hodge right here on Hello Monday. If you have not had an opportunity to subscribe to the channel, go ahead and like and subscribe. This is a place where we meet up every Monday, where women come together. We are fortified through the word of God. This is our community as we are getting set for our brand new week. All right, ladies, I am getting ready to head on out and start my day. I trust that you will have a wonderful week. I will see you right back here on next Monday, right here on Hello Monday. Bye-bye.